The Argus pheasant's mating ritual is a spectacular display
She's just not having it.
of plumage and elaborate dance moves, all to impress a potential mate. The male first clears up an open area in the forest floor. He then announces his presence with loud calls, attracting nearby females. Once the female arrives, he starts his performance by spreading his wings wide, showing off those eye-catching spots that look like 1,000 eyes staring back at you. Chimpanzee mating rituals are a mix of social interaction and strategy. A dominant male, known for his strength and status, attracts attention from the females. He might display his prowess by strutting confidently, making loud calls, or even drumming on trees to show off his power and attract females. Now, here comes the interesting part. Two females, both interested in the same male. Approach them. There's no elaborate dance, but there is plenty of excitement. These females are not just passively waiting, but actively seeking out the dominant male. They make their interest known through grooming, touching, and other social behaviors that strengthen their bond with him. See how the male mates with each female. Scorpions are fascinating creatures. With over 2,000 species, but only about 20 are dangerous to humans. One of these cool species is the Tanzania red claw. These scorpions are mainly active at night, and their mating rituals also happen under the cover of darkness. The neat part is that under ultraviolet light, their bodies glow so we can watch their romantic moments. When a female scorpion meets a male, they start an incredible dance. The male scorpion gently cares for her mouth parts to get her interested. While he does his best to impress, the female tests his strength to see if he's a worthy partner. After some back and forth, the male leads the female around. He eventually deposits his sperm on the ground and gently pulls her over it to ensure she picks it up. This way, he proves he's strong and agile, and she makes sure he's the best dad for her future babies. It's a mix of romance and strategy, and is amazing to watch. Chacma baboons are fascinating creatures, and their mating rituals are no exception. Their complex social structure makes their mating behaviors intriguing. Once a female shows interest, the male follows her closely, staying by her side and grooming her. The period of close companionship, sometimes called consortship, can last several days. After mating, they might stick together, reinforcing their bond before returning to their troop's usual activities. The peacock spider, known for its vibrant colors and intricate dance moves, has a truly captivating mating ritual. When it's time to court a female, the male peacock spider approaches with his strikingly colorful abdomen. He's like a tiny dancer, ready to woo her with his moves. To get her attention, he starts vibrating his abdomen, creating a rhythmic pulsation that's both mesmerizing and hypnotic. But that's just the beginning. The real magic happens when the male raises his third pair of legs, displaying his vibrant colors. It's like he's saying, "Look at me, aren't I the most stunning spider you've ever seen?" The female, watching from a safe distance, can't help but be intrigued. She might flicker her legs in response, signaling her intent in the male's performance. If she's impressed, she'll allow him to approach closer, and if all goes well, they'll mate, sealing their bond in the most beautiful of dances. Silverback gorillas, the dominant dudes in their groups, have a pretty interesting way of going about it. So when a female gorilla catches the eye of a silverback, it's not like a flashy dance-off or anything. It's more subtle, you know? She'll give him hints, like a little glance, a tip of her head, or maybe even a beat on her chest. The silverback, being the gentleman he is, doesn't miss these signals. He'll respond in his way, showing off his strength. He drums his chest with those big, powerful fists, or just stands tall, looking all impressive. But it's not all about muscles and chest thumping. These guys also use their voices to woo the ladies. You might hear them growling or grunting, like they're whispering sweet nothings. If the female is into it, she'll move in closer. So yeah, while it might not be as flashy as some other animal mating rituals, the silverback gorillas know how to make it work. Female ostriches, with their big old eyes, are super picky when choosing a mate. They're checking out every little detail, from the color of his shins to the shininess of his feathers. They're sizing him up to determine if he's the right fit. The ladies lead him on a wild chase, testing his stamina. And let me tell you, these birds can run like the wind, hitting speeds of up to 40 miles per hour. All the guy has to do is keep up. But let me tell you, it's no easy feat. He's puffing and painting, trying to impress the ladies. But even with all that effort, sometimes the ladies just aren't impressed. It's like they're playing hard to get, you know? Now, our guy isn't one to give up easily. He's got one trick left up his sleeve, and he will give it everything he's got. He struts his stuff, maybe not perfectly, but with all the passion and energy he can muster. And finally, it seems like his efforts are paying off. She flicks her wings, a sign that she's impressed. So, with nothing to lose, our guy cautiously performs his final trick, giving it everything he's got. It's not perfect, but it's enough to win her over. When it's time for king penguins to mate, they don't mess around. The males, distinguished by their bright orange patches on their throats, put on quite the show to attract the mate. They'll strut around, flapping their wings and trumpeting loudly to announce their presence. Meanwhile, with their sleek and elegant appearance, the females carefully observe the male's displays. They're looking for a mate who's strong, healthy, and able to provide for their future chicks. Once a female selects a mate, the two dance in a graceful courtship. They bow to each other, vocalize softly, and engage in gentle bill tapping to strengthen their bond. After the courtship dance, the pair will find a scheduled spot on the beach to mate. The male mounts the female from behind, and the two engage in a brief but intimate moment of connection. Once mating is complete, the male and female will take turns incubating their egg, carefully tending to it until it hatches. Now, let's look at the fascinating mating rituals of warthogs, those sturdy and charismatic creatures found in the African savanna. Male warthogs, with their distinctive set of large tusks and warty faces, are the ones who initiate the courtship process. They'll strut around, puffing out their chests and making loud grunting sounds to catch the attention of potential mates. Meanwhile, female warthogs, with their smaller tusks and slightly less warty faces, carefully observe the male's displays. They're looking for a mate who's physically impressive and shows signs of strength and vitality. Once a female warthog selects a mate, the two engage in a playful yet assertive courtship dance. They'll run around each other, darting in and out of bushes and sometimes even engaging in mock battles to test each other's strength. If the male successfully impresses the female with his vigor and confidence, she'll signal her acceptance by allowing him to approach her. The two will then engage in mating, which typically occurs in a secluded spot away from the prying eyes of other animals. Deer mating rituals are a spectacle in the picturesque landscape of woodlands and meadows. Meanwhile, with their keen senses, the hinds carefully assess the stag's displays of strength and virility. They're looking for a mate who's not only physically imposing, but also displays signs of good health and vigor. Once a hind selects a mate, the two will engage in a courtship dance that's both graceful and powerful. Now, let's discuss the greater sage grouse and their fascinating mating rituals. These birds are usually low-key, munching on brush for most of the year. But when spring rolls around, they seem ready to party. Up to 70 male sage grousers gather together, and things get wild. The more experienced guys grab the best spots in the middle and start strutting their stuff. They're cooing, popping, and whistling like there's no tomorrow, putting on quite the show. But these dudes have a special trick up their sleeve. They can gulp down a whole gallon of air into pouches on their chests and then breathe in and out in a super rhythmic way. Now, not everyone can keep up with the pace. The guys who can't hack it get the boot quickly, leaving the spotlight to the real players. After all the huffing and puffing, it's up to the females to pick their favorite guy. Most of them choose the same lucky dude, and when they're ready to mate, they'll make it pretty clear. Now that's interesting. But not more than these blue-footed boobies in their beachside social scene in the Galapagos Islands. The male boobies are out there, flaunting their vibrant blue suede shoes, hoping to catch the eye of a lady boobie. They've got a few moves up their sleeves, starting with showing off these mesmerizing blue feet, then bowing their heads in a bit of a courtly gesture, and maybe even bringing a little gift to sweeten the deal. But if the lady boobie still isn't swooning over those blues, the male doesn't give up that easily. He steps it up a notch, flaunting his footwork and flushing those blues again to win her over. And you know what? If she's impressed, she might join him in a dance. During mating season, male parrots go all out to attract a mate. They puff up their feathers, show off their bright colors, and perform elaborate dances or vocalizations to catch the attention of females like this parrot. Now, here is this. A randy bird, all fluffed up and ready to impress, puts on an elaborate mating dance for a female. He's pulling out all the stops, showing off his fancy footwork and vibrant plumage to win her over. But alas, the female isn't having it. She's unimpressed and promptly flies away without a second thought, leaving the poor guy standing there feeling rejected and dejected. Elephants have a fascinating mating ritual that began with the male elephant, known as a bull, seeking out a receptive female or cow during the breeding season. Bulls often roam widely. She may respond by touching the male's back or allowing him to mount her. Mating itself is relatively brief, lasting only a few minutes, but can be repeated multiple times over several days. After mating, the bull and cow may form a temporary bond, with the bull remaining nearby to protect the cows from other males and potential threats. What animal or bird shocked you the most during mating rituals? Share with us in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.